Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, The Boss's Way, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at another deck from the wonderful Rocket On format. One of my favourite decks actually. It is a Giovanni team deck, so I really love decks that tie in with the characters from the games, so it's really cool that not only is this a competitive deck from back then, it's also a gym deck as well, a gym leader deck in Giovanni. So hopefully as well, this will be, I don't know how many Rocket On videos I've done, but I'm fairly soon I will be doing a tier list for all the decks and where I think they fit into the format, so that's something I'm really looking forward to doing. In the meantime, let's jump into the deck. We are starting off like most Rocket On decks. We are playing 4 copies of Cleffa here for that Eek attack. You have to shuffle your hand and draw 7 card effect. On the baby rule, any Pokemon that tries to attack a Pokemon with the baby rule has to flip a coin to see will the attack go through or not. So pretty big card in the format, as we've talked about before, and we are playing 4 of those. And with the release of the celebration set, they're even easier to get. So some of my Cleffas are in different languages because they were easier to get and cheaper to get at the time, but now everyone can have shiny sparkly Cleffas in English for free, which is pretty cool thanks to celebrations. We are now moving on to our Giovanni cards. So we play 4 copies of this Giovanni's Machop here. The 1 for 10 chop is just nice for early pressure. And then we have Fury Punch. So flip a coin, if heads, attack does 20 damage times the number of damage counters on Giovanni's Machop. So this attack actually becomes more interesting later on when we're into Giovanni's Machamp, and we'll explain that later on. But usually you're not really attacking with this, but 1 for 10 is nice just to be able to put a bit of pressure on at the start if you have to, if you have Giovanni's Machop stuck out in the active. But obviously early game you're wanting to see your Cleffas out there to help you set up. We then play 4 copies of Giovanni's Machoke, and it's the Giovanni's Machoke with risky attack and headlock. So risky attack reads, for 1 fighting does 60 damage and flip a coin if Tails' attack does no damage to the defending Pokemon, and Giovanni's Machoke does 100 to itself. So it's on a coin flip. 1 for 60 would be nuts damage output in this format. So you can get some huge swings with it, but obviously it's a bit of a Hail Mary attack, because if you flip wrong, then you're in serious trouble because Giovanni's Machoke will go down. Then for a headlock, 2 fighting and a colourless, flip a coin, if heads this attack does 20 damage plus 20 more damage, and the defending Pokemons are paralysed if tails it just does 20, so 40 paralysis would be nice. 20 though for 3 is not great. Look, if you're attacking with Giovanni's Machoke, something's gone terribly wrong. So it's not something we usually attack with, but it is there, and risky attack is a very interesting attack as well. But I suppose, if you can get the headlock off, there's no energy denial, removal should I say, in this format. So if you do get the headlock, or if you want to go for headlock to get that paralysis off, to slow down your opponent or to shut down maybe a Pokemon power, then that's an option I suppose as well for the deck. We are playing now 3 copies of our Giovanni's Machamp. So Giovanni's Machamp, very cool looking card. Has 100 hit points and has the Pokemon power Fortitude, which is essentially Focus Band on a Pokemon. So if it would be knocked out, you flip a coin, and if heads, Giovanni's Machamp is not knocked out and it has 10 remaining HP instead, but it can't use this ability if it has a status condition on it. So then we use Giovanni's Machamp. It has Fortitude as a Pokemon power, and then we also attach our own Focus Bands to it, so it's extra annoying to knock out, which is brilliant, which is the selling point in the deck. Then we have Hurricane Punch, 3 fighting and a colourless, does flip 4 coins, and for each heads does 30 times that numbers damage. So if it was 4 heads, you're doing 120. Again on coin flips. So it can do pretty high damage, or it can do low enough damage. It really depends. So between its ability and its attack, it's all about flipping coins. But again, that's a large aspect of this format. So you take it, you're not surprised by that. But yeah, really fun card, really cool card, and again, love the art from these sets. It's actually a Japanese one. as well, because again it was just cheaper to get Japanese one, but Japanese ones is really cool as well. In there we play 3 copies of Giovanni's Machamp. Then we play 1 copy of Igglybuff as well, just for that Pokemon Power Gaze. Once during your turn before you attack, choose one of your opponent's bench Pokemon that has a Pokemon Power, and that power stops working until the end of the turn. So just giving you an option to shut down your opposing Pokemon, your abilities from the bench of your opponent there. Again, it can be situationally good just to switch something off. So we play the Igglybuff there as well, which is quite good. Also, that baby rule gives us free retreat, and it also gives us acts as a wall as well for us with the baby rule on the coin flip too. So on to our trainers. We play our Professor's Elm, so we're playing 4 copies of Professor's Elm. Your shuffle draw 7, but then you can't play any more trainers for the rest of the turn. Staple in the format, kind of the first of the supporters as we know them type of thing now. We play 4 Focus Band, which is essentially Giovanni's Machamp's ability, where any Pokemon that this is attached to, you flip a coin, and if they would be knocked out and it's a heads, then they get to hang on for with 10 hit points remaining instead. So it just makes Pokemon extra hard to knock out. This, in combination with Giovanni's Machamp's ability, makes Giovanni's Machamp really, really difficult to knock out, and also combining it with a Cleffa or Igglybuff, a baby Pokemon, and its baby rule makes knocking out Pokemon in this deck really, really challenging to do. We play 3 copies of our Pokemon Trader. So trade one of the basic Pokemon or evolution cards in your hand for one of the basic or evolution cards from your deck. So it just helps you trade a Pokemon you don't want that's in your hand for something that's in the deck that you do want. So just for consistency. We play 3 copies of the Rocket Sneak Attack as well. So look at your opponent's hand. If he or she has any trainers there, choose one of them, and your opponent shuffles it back into his or her deck. Again, just for disruption as well. Buys us a bit of time, especially if our coin flips aren't going quite right for us. Then it can slow down your opponent as well. We play 2 copies of Warp Point. So if your opponent has any bench Pokemon, he or she chooses one of them and switches it with his or her active. Then if you have any bench Pokemon, you switch one of them with your active. And again, kind of just a good way of pivoting in and out yourself. You've free retreaters as well that you can take advantage of for this, and also making your opponent bring up something that they don't want to bring up from their bench into the active that you can maybe swing into and take a knockout. We play 2 copies of Good Manners, so really, really great card in this format as well. Basically, if you've no basic Pokemon in your hand, you show your hand to your opponent to prove that, and then you get to choose a basic Pokemon and add it from your deck to your hand. We play 2 copies of that just to get our Giovanni's Machops and Cleffas, and that 1 copy of Igglybuff if we need it out. We play 2 copies of Resistance Gym for our stadium. So each Pokemon's resistance is reduced by 20. If a Pokemon's resistance is minus 30, now it is only minus 10. So again, probably the best stadium that we have in this format for this deck, and kind of if there is any cards where resistance is becoming an issue, it kind of just helps fix the mats a little bit for that. Obviously in this format the best deck is for Alligator. You do come across Noctowl Gengar, Dark Gengar as well, so it does help with them resisting you a bit less as well, and Giovanni's Machamp does do a lot of damage if you can get your flips right as well, so that's pretty good. We play kind of an unusual card here, Potion. Just removes 2 damage counters from one of your Pokemon, but it's actually quite useful in this deck, especially considering you are often leaving yourself with 10 hit points left, be it from Focus Bands or Giovanni's Machamp's Pokemon Power. So it is handy just having that option to heal some damage off you as well, before maybe slapping down a second choice band, just to kind of make you a bit more tankier and get your Pokemon to last a bit longer as well. So we have a few one-offs. We have Recall, which is possibly, I think, probably the coolest trainer in the deck. art included. But basically, what it lets you do is for your active this turn, if you attack this turn, your active Pokemon can use any attack from its basic card or any evolution card attached to it. So we specifically want to use Recall on Giovanni's Machamp to use Giovanni's Machop's Fury Punch, as we talked about earlier in the video. So flip a coin if heads, this attack does 20 damage times the number of damage counters on Giovanni's Machop. So imagine you have Giovanni's Machamp out. It's after saving itself either via its Pokemon Power Fortitude or from a focus band. So it actually has 90 damage on it now at this point, because it's a bit blurry, but it's a 100 hit point Pokemon, and so it has 9 damage counters on it. So then you use Recall Recall for Fury Punches only requires 2 fighting, which is great. It's not as expensive as Hurricane for 4. And then you can, if you get flip correctly, you can do up to 180 damage. This is obviously overkill in this format, but you can pretty much, that guarantees a one-hit knockout on everything, providing you get that coin flip. So it just gives you that extra kind of option if you're running low on energy, or if Hurricane Punch just isn't doing it. And that's just a really cool kind of move that the deck has at its disposal. So we also play 1 copy of Double Gust. If you have any bench Pokemon, your opponent switches one of them and switches it with your if you have any bench Pokemon, your opponent chooses one of them and switches it with your active Pokemon. Then if your opponent is a bench Pokemon, you choose one of them. So basically you bring up something that you want from your opponent's bench and they do the same. So we have a lot of Cleffas. We have 4 Cleffa. We have Jumpluff here as well, and they all have free retreat. So if you can work your bench in such a way that all they can bring up is a free retreater, then it doesn't really matter, because you can pivot back out of that and bring back up your Pokemon that you want to attack with. And again, just gives you a nice way, along with Warp Point, of bringing out something that you want to take a easy prize on, or maybe remove a threat off the board as well. It wouldn't be a Giovanni's deck without playing at least 1 Giovanni's trainer card, and we do have room for it. Giovanni's Last Resort. So remove all damage counters from one of your Pokemon with Giovanni in its name, then discard your hand. So again, if you think of Giovanni's Machamp, it's after hanging on as through its ability Fortitude or perhaps a Focus Band here. Then you drop a Giovanni's Last Resort, heals it back off, and that means then you're ready to last another turn, get another, maybe Giovanni's Machamp can take another knockout or 2 knockouts before it gets knocked out itself, and it's just really useful. So it's just a really cool card to have as a one-off. Again, makes your Giovanni's Machamp last a bit longer. Also has really cool art. So I think it and Recall are the 2 coolest trainers in the deck. And then Nightly Garbage One, just choose up to 3 basic Pokemon evolution cards or basic energy, show them to your opponent, add them to your deck. Again, just for a bit of recovery in the deck. So onto our energies. We play 3 copies of our Full Heal Energy. So it acts as a colourless energy, but it also removes any status condition. And why this is really important is Giovanni's Machamp's ability, Fortitude, doesn't work if it's under a status condition. So if it gets paralysed or it's asleep or it's confused, then Fortitude stops working. So it's very handy just to be able to slap down a colourless Full Heal Energy onto Giovanni's Machamp. It gets out of its status condition. It also technically can be used to pay for Hurricane Punch, because one of the cost of the attack is colourless, so it works out really well. There's great synergy there. So we play 3 copies of that just to get around that. And then finally we play a load of Fighting Energy, because Giovanni's Machamp is expensive. So we play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 energy in the deck. And again, there is no energy removal in this format, which is why I think it's a better format than base Neo and base Fossil. But it just means you're getting your energy when you need your energy, because 3 fighting is quite a lot, and then you have your colourless as well. So that's the deck list, Giovanni's Machamp. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. I know it's been a while since my last video, but this channel is really just very casual, kind of whenever I get a chance to do it, I'll do one. Again, the quality of the camera isn't great, but again, this is really just more or less for myself, just to kind of showcase my decks and maybe get a bit of discussion going about it, maybe, you know, have a few rounds with people on TCG1, following deck discussions as well. Regarding the format, I do think it's an underrated format, and I am keen to kind of promote it, the Rocket On format. But of course, we will be looking at other formats as well, and we have done already. Base Fossil, we're looking at Neo On as well, with some e-card stuff. More O4 decks as well. I have 2005 and 2007 World Championship decks I'd like to kind of do a video on as well. I have, and then a few kind of more newer decks from say 2017-18, expanded as well, a little bit of expanded, not much, and actually a load of 2010, actually currently building the Machamp in 2010 now at the moment as well. So lots to discuss, but let me know what you think of Giovanni's Machamp. Again, love the fact it's a gym leader focused deck, and you can actually have fun with it, but also it wins games and is competitive too. Thanks very much for watching, and this has been The Boss's Way.